How well did the recruiting weekend go for the Fighting Irish? And that includes a very interesting tackle from the Northeast.
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend for Notre Dame with their official visitors. Just in talking to various sources, people were pretty pleased with how things went. Just to kind of give a quick rundown of who was on campus, you had Styles Prescott, who committed to the Fighting Irish Tuesday afternoon. Again, On3 ranks him as a 4-star player, pretty high on him. He commits. So, all right, 6 official visitors on campus, right? You got him locked in. Paul Mankey, a safety from Texas. I'm very intrigued to see where this one goes for the Fighting Irish, because I think the visit went really well, but and he was pretty blunt when talking to my coworker Kyle Kelly about it's Notre Dame or Duke for me. And I'm not 100% sure where this thing's going to go. It's kind of, I wrote about it more at blueandgold.com, that you can find there, but it's kind of crunch time for him. What will happen? How is Notre Dame recruiting him and the other safeties? It's a really interesting spot. Anthony Knapp and Peter Jones, 2 Notre Dame offensive line commits. For me, both project on the inside all the way. Knapp could play tackle, but I think that he's going to be more of an interior offensive lineman, and the same for Jones. So we've talked about what, four guys so far. Kedron Young commits to Notre Dame Monday night. I was told he was going to commit to Notre Dame later in the week, but 4-star running back from Lufkin, Texas, went ahead and locked in that commitment. So, I mean, going pretty well. And then, who you mentioned, that tackle from the Northeast, Gerby Lambert, who I think could be a day one replacement, at one of those tackle spots if Notre Dame loses Blake Fisher and Joe Alt, or I should say, I mean, this is a big time prospect for Notre Dame. You might be able to argue, even over like a Justin Scott, that he's the most important official recruit left on the board for Notre Dame. And Lambert, from what I was told and from what Lambert told On3's Chad Simmons, the visit went really well. Notre Dame should be in the top spot. And I want to mention CJ Carr, Notre Dame's quarterback commit, was on campus for an unofficial. He's supposed to be at Notre Dame this weekend, and then I believe his official visit weekend will be the weekend of June 16th. So Carr is making his way to South Bend to recruit for the Irish, and it is really good to see. He could do other things with this weekend, but he wants to keep getting to Notre Dame to help build this offensive line class. The running back class is now pretty much done. The receiver class is virtually done. But he wants to make sure that Notre Dame gets these offensive linemen, gets another tight end potentially, and then he's also wanting to just hang out with his buddies, help build the defensive class even. So CJ Carr, an integral part of what Notre Dame's doing in the 2024 class. So, heck, Notre Dame could potentially go 6 for 6 with the 6 official visitors that they had. My guess right now is that they land 5 of the 6. I would imagine Mankey goes elsewhere. I do like Notre Dame to land Gerby Lambert right now, but Darren, the interesting thing with him, among other matters, is that this was his first time leaving the state of Massachusetts for a college visit. He had only been to nearby Boston College once or twice. So I would have a hard time seeing him just go ahead and committing to Notre Dame right now. I think he wants to go see these other schools. It's going to be Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, or Boston College for him. Personally, I think it's going to end up being Notre Dame or BC, and I do like the Irish.
So it's fair to say they love their 3-man offensive line class, and if Lambert wants to come aboard, they'll be happy to make room for him.
Oh yeah. It's 3 and Lambert. Okay. If they don't land Lambert, I think they would stand put for a while. I think they would stand pat for a while, I should say. I still think Notre Dame, if they get Lambert on, I think they're going to end up taking 4. Maybe they don't even know it right now, but I just feel like they'll find some offensive linemen. Senior year is a big year for development for offensive linemen. They'll find someone, or someone that they already had, maybe crossed off their board. Maybe he really emerges as a senior, and they circle back to that player. I think it'll end up being 4. But yeah, in the perfect world for Notre Dame, it's Prescott, it's Knapp, it's Jones, and then you go get Lambert.
for our radio listeners, Irish Invasion, how would you assess how important it is for the coaches and the players that come to town for this event?
Yeah, I mean, Irish Invasion, it's huge for Notre Dame to get eyes on a lot of these 2025 players in an environment that they control, right? I mean, if Notre Dame's going out on the road during the spring evaluation period, they're seeing those recruits in their high school environment, but Notre Dame is now, but they can't really talk to those players, right? But you get them on campus and go through this camp. Mike Bickens, for example, he had a really good cornerback group. He can talk to them. He can put them through specific drills that he wants to see them at. So it's important. I mean, Notre Dame extended a few new offers as well, and you can read all about that at blueandgold.com. So I will say it wasn't as talented of a group this year as last year. Last year's was, I think, just an anomaly, to be honest. It was insane. I mean, the amount of quarterbacks that they had that were big time, you just don't really see at a camp. Heck, you don't even think you see that at like a Elite 11 camp. Like maybe the Elite 11 finals, obviously that's a different camp, but like a regional camp, like you don't see the amount of talent that Notre Dame had at quarterback last year. But still a pretty good camp. But yeah, last year's was just a little bit different.
Were there any standouts?
I want to go through, let's see, I got about 7.
Okay.
The first, Ike Taylor's son. Of course, Ike Taylor played for the Steelers and, throughout the 2000s into I believe his last year with Pittsburgh was in 2014. Listed as a safety. Notre Dame worked him out at corner, but he could really play anything. He was, multiple Notre Dame sources called him just a freak show. Number 79 overall player per the On3 industry ranking. He picked up an offer from Notre Dame afterwards, and he's got offers from FSU, Alabama, Penn State, Michigan, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, Tennessee, USC, list goes on. So Notre Dame offered Ike Taylor's son. This camp, Irish Invasion, is pretty much for 2025s, and then you'll have some 2026s. Or I should say rising juniors is primarily for, but then you also have some rising sophomores as well. But how about a rising senior? You'll have some of those here and there as well. And Anthony Robinson, who Notre Dame has offered, he made his way up to camp, a 3-star safety out of Louisiana. He looked fantastic. I think he probably ends up at Ole Miss, though, but wanted to mention him. Still a possibility for Notre Dame on the safety board. From Chicago Simeon, you had Christopher Burgess, a 4-star, who just is a regular visitor at Notre Dame. My sources believe that the Irish are out in front for him right now. Micah Gilbert, there's another 2024 player who participated in the camp. This is my first time seeing the Charlotte Christian Irish commitment in the 2024 class go through, or just see him in person, and a big-bodied receiver, kind of a mix of Jaden Thomas and Deion Colsey. If you can imagine what that kind of player would be like, that's what I thought of Michael Gilbert. Pretty strong showing on the day. Brock Schott from Leo, Indiana High School, a 4-star tight end, hasn't picked up an offer from Notre Dame yet, but I thought he was the best-looking tight end of the group. Fort Wayne Carroll quarterback in the 2025 class. It wasn't the strongest quarterback group, again, especially compared to last year. This is a player right now he's just got MAC offers, but I thought Jimmy Sullivan was outstanding. Just really clean mechanics. Thought he looked very comfortable in the pocket. I liked him a lot. And then my personal top overall player, look, the 2 best players there, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that they're the best recruits necessarily, because Cam Williams was even there, but Cam didn't. Notre Dame's receiver commit in 2024. Cam didn't go through the one-on-ones, though, with the receiver versus DB. So I'm just saying the best performances were Ivan Taylor and this young man, Derek Meadows from Las Vegas Bishop Gorman. Meadows told me he measured in at 6'6", 195. And when I saw Meadows, I didn't have to look down at my list and say, who's blue 15? Blue jersey number 15. I knew it was Derek Meadows. When you have a receiver listed on his On3 profile at 6'5", 185, he's going to stand out pretty easily. He did. He was outstanding. The testing, the route work on air, the drills, the one-on-ones, absolute freak show. Notre Dame sources raving about him, and he picked up his offer from the Fighting Irish staff. After the camp, Notre Dame pulled him away, put him in Marcus Freeman's office, and he got that offer. So I thought it was really impressed with Derek Meadows. So, I mean, Meadows, Ivan Taylor, really the two biggest names to keep an eye on moving forward for Notre Dame from the camp.
And of course, for more on Irish Invasion, make sure you check out blueandgold.com.